Good morning, everyone. Good morning. Hi, guys. Good morning. So sorry about a slight delay. Let's start. So good morning. So good morning again and welcome. My name is Elena. I'm the manager of exchange here at UNSW Learning Abroad team. Thank you so much for joining us today. So this is our winter term orientation for new exchange and study abroad students. And we're very, very excited to host you here today. So I would like to begin by showing my respects and acknowledging the Bedigal people, who are the traditional custodians of the land on which this meeting takes place, and to elders past and present. It is now my great pleasure to introduce Professor Lisa Zamberlan, Pro-Vice-Chancellor International, to welcome you to UNSW.
Haven't had a clap in a while. Hi. Hi, good to see you, really good to see you. Can you hear me okay? Okay, my name's Lisa, I'm the Pro-Vice-Chancellor International, and it's such a privilege to welcome you here today. It's such a roar in the crowd, and I haven't heard that for a while, so it is really, really nice. Before I commence, I also want to acknowledge the traditional custodians of the land on which we meet, the Bedigal people, and extend my respects to elders past and present. You'll notice in your time in Australia that you'll hear that quite a bit. It's customary in this country. Indigenous Australians are our nation's first custodians of knowledge and wisdom. And they have shaped generations for thousands of years. In this particular place, we want to acknowledge their contribution to knowledge. I want to begin by saying to you, thank you so much for choosing us. It's such an exciting time in your academic studies, so welcome to UNSW Sydney and welcome to Australia. You're entering a top 20 global university. We're really proud of that. It's such an exciting time for us here at work also. It's especially particularly exciting year for us because it's our 75th anniversary. We were founded in 1949 with a specific purpose on technical skills and knowledge for our nation, translating research and knowledge to really applicable, world-changing, life-changing impact for the society in which we serve. So, you're in a place where researchers are designing the solar cell. That cell is in 90% of the global solar cells in in the world. Our engineering students have created the world's fastest EV, going up to 1,000 kilometres in one single charge, and you'll see that car, the SunSwift car, around the place and students working on it. With industry collaboration, we've improved heart transplant success by 25%. And internationally, we're working on sustainable farming and cleaning up ocean waters and clean waters right around the globe. So we mean it when we say impact. We're a technical university, not a traditional university, but we are so proud that the work that we're doing is really changing lives. So despite being pretty young, we have a pretty impressive footprint. We've got 7 faculties across UNSW and New South Wales and in Canberra, over 380,000 alum, of which now you're a part. You'll be part of a 70,000 student body, and we've got the most spin-outs and startups of any institution in Australia. And hopefully you'll see some of that work in play. You'll be joining over 30,000 students from over 140 countries, and it's a real privilege to have that diversity on our campus. It is not lost on me how lucky we are to have that. Delighted this term we have over 435 exchange and study abroad students from 24 countries, and you will change us. I'm an alum of this university. I've taught here for a heap of years, and it's one of the great joys of my life to be working with future leaders in this space. The Exchange and Study Abroad team are such a brilliant team. I know they've supported you getting here, and they'll support you in this journey. You'll hear so much about life on campus, their academic studies, and all the support that will surround you during your time here. This will change you, but more importantly, you will change us by the perspectives you bring, the way you force us to collaborate and think in really new ways, and the way you'll take us with you, and the way you'll change lives as you go back to your home countries. hopefully we'll always be part of that story for you. So thank you for that in advance. Look forward to hearing what you do, hopefully seeing the work that you do. Enjoy your experiences here at UNSW. Make the most of the classes, but also everything that surrounds the classes that you'll be a part of. Can I say thank you to the team who are supporting you throughout your time here, the countless hours of work to kind of get their arms around you and bring you here and make sure you have a wonderful and safe time. Once again, welcome to UNSW Sydney. Have a great day. Bye.
Thank you so much, Lisa, for this warm welcome. So before we continue, just a couple of housekeeping things. The emergency exits are marked with the emergency green letters, so in case of an emergency, go to the nearest exit. The bathrooms are just outside in the foyer, so female bathrooms are on this side, male bathrooms are on that side. This presentation is being recorded, and we will share a link to the recording in the next few days, so if you would like to review the content, you will be able to do so. So we have a very exciting and busy schedule for you today. So this is what we will cover in today's presentations. We will talk about academic expectations. We will cover support services available to you at UNSW. We'll talk about health and well-being, staying safe, Australian culture, beach safety. We will also have representative from ARC, which is your student organization that looks after student life outside the classroom. So they will talk about what ARC does and what you can get involved in. When we finish with our presentations, we're very excited to have our own yellow shirt campus tours, and yellow shirt are UNSW students who are volunteering to help during all week, which is a big orientation week, and they lead campus tours as well. So the campus tours will start outside this building, and they will finish at the Roundhouse, where we will have a barbecue for you. So let's get started. So we're study abroad and exchange team, so we're part of UNSW Learning Abroad with two, teams within Learning Abroad. The best way to reach us is via email. Our email addresses are listed on the slide. I think by now you all know our email addresses, and you should know if you're a study abroad or exchange student. But don't worry, in case you email the wrong email address, we will just forward to our colleagues, and we will get back to you as soon as we can. We're also available for in-person drop-in advising sessions at specific times between 2 p.m. and 4 p.m. So the drop-in advising sessions take place at the Nucleus Student Hub, which is located in the library. So we don't have any advising sessions today because it's orientation and we'll have barbecue in the afternoon, but we will be at the Nucleus tomorrow on Friday and also on Monday and Tuesday next week between 2 p.m. and 4 p.m. You don't need to book an appointment, so if you need to talk with us in person, you can drop by during those times and we will be able to assist you. So as I mentioned, the Nucleus Student Hub is located in the library, which is just a tall building with UNSW letters on it. And they usually have over 30 advisors every day just helping students across the university. So this is the Student Hub. It's the first point of contact for all students with any inquiries. They can help you with enrollment if you're experiencing any technical issues, or if you have troubles adding yourself to the wait list, or if you have any enrollment questions. They can also escalate any complicated or tricky cases to our team. So if your case or your inquiry requires support from us, they will escalate to us, and then we will get back to you and to discuss how we can assist you. The Nucleus Student Hub is also where you pick up your student ID card if you haven't already. You do need to book an appointment, so you may meet some of the friends today who have appointments booked, but you can't just tag along with them. You will need to book your own appointment, and you need to bring your passport as identification document, and they will print your student ID card on the spot. So introducing our beautiful campus. So I know some of you may have just arrived, so you did not get a chance to see it yet, but you will during our campus tours. Our campus is really big, it's really busy. As we say, it never sleeps. There is a lot going on, but with a small disclaimer, it does take a nap sometimes. So you will notice for the next sort of 3 or 4 weeks, the campus will be fairly quiet. So this is because we're now heading towards the exam period. You are here starting your program in the winter term, and the official name is Term 2C or T2C, which is basically the last few weeks of Term 2. So now there will be exams for Term 2, and that's why the campus is a bit quiet, because all students are studying, preparing final assessments, there's no really a lot going on. However, all week is coming up, and all week, as I mentioned, it's our orientation week. Term 3 will start in early September, and all week will take place a week before, so it starts on the 2nd of September. There will be lots of activities, lots of presentations. There will be Welcome to Country, which is very special, and we encourage you to attend. You will be getting more information, and you can register for any events, workshops that will be on. There will be also lots of social events, and we do encourage you to get involved as much as possible, as this is really the best way to get to know the university and meet other students. So basically, don't worry, the campus will get really busy very soon. This is the map of where we are located. So we are very lucky to have an amazing location. We are on the Kensington campus, so this is the Kensington campus. We also have the Paddington campus for art and design. So some of you will be taking courses at our art and design campus, or at least some of your courses. So the two campuses are located between Sydney's coastal eastern suburbs and the city. So we are surrounded by beautiful beaches. So we have Coogee Beach and the famous Bondi Beach not far. Both are just a short bus ride away, but you can actually walk to Coogee from this campus. It's not really far, so it's a nice walk down the hill to get to Coogee Beach. We are also really well connected by buses and light rail as well. So the light rail will take you to the city centre, it can take you to the central station or the inner city as well. So it's easy to get around. So UNSW is buzzing with students on activity, not during the exam period, as I mentioned, but it will be during the term. And we have thousands of students from all around the world, so there will be a lot happening. Our campus has everything you need for your student life and for a wonderful experience at UNSW. So all the facilities are listed on the slide, and we will talk about most of them during our presentation. But we do have a medical center, we have retail services, there are cafes, there are amazing sporting facilities, we do have a supermarket, so everything you need. Just a quick note about the gym. So we do have an aquatic and fitness center. It's not free, unfortunately, it's not included in the tuition fees. It's a paid membership, or you can have passes, and there are different options how you can join, but you will need to pay to go there. So I will now hand over to Shane to talk to you about academic expectations.
Okay, thank you, Elena. Welcome everybody to Sydney. Welcome to UNSW. We're very excited to have you here. I know I'm personally very excited. My name is Shane. I'm one of the program officers for Study Abroad, so I may have spoken to many of you before. But I'm here to talk about the most fun thing on the slides, and that's the academic expectations. So if we can bear with me for 10 minutes or so. But this is really important information that will help you just understand the nature of our classes, how things are set up at UNSW, and how you can set yourself up for success during your study abroad experience. So UNSW, you can see, is quite a large campus. We have lots of students, close to 70,000 students on campus, so lectures may vary in size. So this is our largest lecture hall on campus, so lectures may be up to this size. but they also might be small, 20 or 30 people as well. So most classes generally will have a lecture component, and then you're going to have a tutorial or a lab or a seminar component to go with it as well. So all classes are mandatory, but participation is expected in the tutorials, labs, and seminars. So this is, attendance is marked, and it's generally this is where you're in your smaller groups. You might have homework problems each week. It might be just to discuss what's been happening in the lectures as well. But you do have to attend 80% of all of your tutorials while you're here. So if you are missing more than that, you're going to have some difficulties with the content just because of the nature of how it's all set up. So you do need documented evidence if you do miss a course, and that includes getting a medical certificate, which you can get from a doctor on campus. Each course has different delivery modes as well. So here at UNSW, we are lucky. We have 3 different types of courses you can choose from. So we have the in-person courses, so that would be fully delivered in person, lecture and labs. We have the fully online components of courses as well. So that's where you will probably never go into a classroom for doing that course. It's all delivered through the online platforms. And then multimodal, you may have a mix of both. So that may mean that you can choose to attend both in-person classes for your lecture and tutorial component. You might be able to decide to take one of those components just on your computer and then come in to do your tutorial. And also you may wish to do it fully online as well. Now the only caveat is that you may only do 1 fully online course per term. That counts as well. So if you're taking a multimodal course, as long as you have an in-person component, that multimodal course will be counted as an in-person course for you. So it's really only 1 fully online course that you're allowed to have per term. You may have multimodals or in-persons for the rest of them. Also just wanted to stress as well that each home university where you're from might have different rules about the types of courses that you can do at UNSW for credit transfer. So some universities do have restrictions and they do ask your students to enroll in-person courses only. If that's the case, just check with your home university if you're not too sure, and we can also help give you advice if you're not 100%. So just contact us via the relevant email addresses. Okay, so just talking about course enrollment now, we're about to begin the winter term, term T2C, and this is where everyone here is going to be doing just 1 course with us. It's a short 3-4 week block where you're doing these intensive courses. So you're only able to really do 1 to be able to fully commit at this time. When it comes to term 3 in September, all of you will be enrolled into 3 courses. There's no kind of deviation from this as well. So there's no possibility to overload and do 4 in the regular term, and there's no possibility to underload and do 2. You have to do the 3 courses. And that's just to ensure compliance with your offer and study plan. The dates are just listed up there as well. If anyone needs to still get approvals for winter term courses, I think most people are enrolled, but you may start in class and realize it's not for you and you wish to change really quickly. Please contact our teams and submit your new requests via Endeavour as soon as possible, and we'll do our best to help you have that approved before the start of classes. My UNSW, this is kind of like the home page that you'll see when you log in. It's where you can update your contact details. That's a requirement of your visa conditions, is that you update us with your local address on My UNSW. So make sure you log in, and if you haven't already done so, just update it to wherever you're staying here in Sydney. You can also check your timetable through here. This is where you do your enrollment and registration. Most of you will be familiar with that already. You set up your wait listing, swapping courses, and I'll speak a little bit more in a bit about checking your exam timetable and final grades. We have a few online systems for you to use, so if you haven't already done so, you can set up your UNSW student email address. There are instructions in your inbox on how to do so, and it's fairly straightforward. You just have to put in your program code. Moodle is the online learning platform that all of your content will be delivered through during your time here. So this is where professors may contact you about assignments. You can connect with other class members as well. Lecture recordings will be available through a platform called Echo, which you can also access through these systems. And also, everyone now has access to Microsoft Teams, so there are some courses which may use Teams to handle assignments and group work, particularly if you're doing online courses as well. So please familiarize yourself if you use a different platform at your home university. So I think that it's very important just to kind of plan ahead. I know it's a very exciting time at the moment. It's very easy to get out there and have a lot of fun and kind of forget about your courses until week 2 or 3. But I think it's just worth having a little look at sitting down at your course outlines, figuring out when throughout the term you might have to hand things in, and just having a little plan in your head on how you're going to tackle the assignments and the courses. So the course outlines, everything is available via Moodle. You can search for other course outlines via our course outlines website on UNSW. And yeah, as well, textbooks as well. We just recommend to hold back and have a little look at your courses first. Don't rush out and buy it in case you may find it more economical to find through our library, for example, or other ways. The library is our most iconic building on campus. It stands above everything. It's where the nucleus is as well, where you will go and pick up your student card. But there are 2 other libraries that you can use on campus. The Law Library, which is down closer to Anzac Parade at the lower end of campus. And Paddington, which is our art and design campus as well. So even if you're not doing courses at art and design, you want to do something different, you can go out to Paddington and use the library there for the day. It's in a really cool kind of bougie neighborhood here in Sydney, so little just different to get out and see the other campus. But you can use your student ID as your library card. This is where you kind of manage all your loans through. There is a system called My Library that does that as well. And the ground floor of the library as you walk in is where the high-use collection is. So that's where you might hire out something for a couple of hours, just if you need it to do some work for one of your courses that week. So for assessments as well, just check your course outlines. Assessments may be like tests or essays or maybe lab components that you have to do. You do have to attempt all of your required assessments, and failing a required assessment, it may actually result in you failing the entire course as well, even if your overall mark is greater than 50%. So it's very important to attempt all assignments and do your best. This was just a slide on special consideration. So just to remember for today, just remember that there is a process if you are sick or if you do have to miss an assignment or an exam. You can apply for special consideration when things are beyond your control. So that's something that you are not planning for. It's something that you can't plan for now, but something that just kind of pops up on the day. So this, unexpected and beyond your control is the special consideration process. My colleague James will talk a little bit about the equitable learning services at the university, which is more about planning for things now that you know about that might affect your assessments. But special consideration, you just need to have all your documentation in place. If you encounter any technical difficulties while you're doing a online assessment, you'll need to submit your special consideration directly afterwards with all your documentation. If it's more of a kind of sickness or illness thing, the UNSW currently still has a fit to sit or submit rule. It means if you sit an exam or a piece of assessment, you're declaring yourself fit to sit, fit to do the exam, so you can't later apply for special consideration in that instance. Links are there. Some of you might not use it, but when you do, just you'll be able to find the resources. Examinations, there is no centrally conducted exam period for this winter term that you're in currently. Some courses may have exams, and they'll do that in the last week of classes in the class. But there is an official exam period for the Term 3 section. So keep an eye out on the 23rd and 28th of October for your exam timetable to be published. Basically, hold off booking any travel, anything that you want to do after your experience here in Sydney, because the exam times really are not negotiable. There's kind of no exceptions to that. So yeah, don't make any travel plans just to avoid your disappointment. Unless, of course, you know that your course does not have any exams, you're good to go. But just check your course outline at the start of term. Okay, academic misconduct. So basically, don't cheat. Don't engage in plagiarism or academic misconduct while you're here on campus. UNSW is a world leader in detecting these kinds of cheating and a world leader in the new kind of generative AI that's been popping up in the last few years. So do not engage in plagiarism or any academic misconduct, which includes exam cheating, contract cheating, or document falsification, things like that. So if you're not too sure, you can always seek help from the Learning Centre. There is also academic skills which can assist you, because if you are struggling with a course, it can be tempting to do some of these things. But I think in the first point of call, you should always go to the academic skills and the Learning Centre. They can help with you with resources and help you study to do it properly. So generative AI is a new thing that every university is kind of working with at the moment. So some courses may allow it. So please just ask your teacher. There'll be specific policies for each of the courses that you're in. UNSW may take disciplinary action if you're in breach of your student code of conduct. And then penalties can range into reduction of marks or suspension, exclusion from UNSW. And we have an obligation to also notify your home university as well. So you can check out the wonderful readings of the Student Code of Conduct on our policy register. And just to kind of start finishing off here, the UNSW transcripts and grades. So at the end of your time here, we'll be sending you instructions on how to get your transcripts so you can get your grades transferred back to your home university. Just take a note that the grading system here in Australia may be very different to what you're used to back in your home universities. So we work on a basis of getting a grade out of 100, where you're given distinction, high distinction right down to a fail there. And there's an interpretation of each of these grades. So it's kind of up to each individual university to interpret how UNSW's grading system is. So some of you may be here on pass-fail, so you'll just have to kind of pass our courses to get your credit. Some of you may be here and getting grades transferred specifically as well. So just double check that with your home university. We can't really advise on that. That's something that you would be able to learn from your own institutions. And basically for academic progression, for anyone who's staying longer than a term, this is going to affect you the most, but it is a condition of your study abroad exchange to pass at least 50% of your courses. Progression checks are done at the end of each term just to double check this, but I know you're all going to pass and do well, because our study abroad exchange students always do. So that's the end of my chat, my exciting chat. I'm going to pass over to James, He's going to talk about UNSW support services, but otherwise, welcome. I'm looking forward to chatting to you all later today, and welcome. Thank you.
Good morning, everyone. Hope you're all doing nice and well. I'm also going to take this opportunity to welcome you to UNSW. I think that's the 4th welcome you've had, but you can't have too many welcomes. So I'm going to be chatting to you today about support services. I should mention my name is James. I may have chatted to a handful of you via email over the past weeks, months, and even up to a year for some of you. So it's been a long journey. Both physically and metaphorically, and it's lovely to see you all here. So just to kind of preamble this a little bit, we all hope that you don't need support services. Hopefully you guys are just going to ace it yourselves, which I'm sure you're more than capable of doing so. But sometimes, life has other ideas, so it's a good idea to have a bit of a kind of a clue as to where to go when you need it. Also, it's worth remembering as well that support services aren't there for only when things are going wrong or going bad. They're also there to kind of help reinforce the positives and help to develop and grow as well. So I think it's a good idea just to get a good overview of what's out there for you. We are going to start with a video, if it cooperates. Let me give it a go.
Hey there, welcome to UNSW. My name is Laura Montague and I'm the chair of your student organisation ARC, and I'm so delighted to welcome you to UNSW. UNSW is a place where you can learn, grow, discover and thrive, and there are so many amazing services to help you do just that.
The Nucleus is the home of student services, here to guide you from enrolment to graduation. Drop in online or in person if you have any questions around working through your degree, your student record, fees, ID cards, or documentation. We'll be able to help or point you in the right direction.
The student support advisors are here to help students navigate the pressures and stresses of life, including university life. The team takes a personalized approach, assisting students steer through a wide range of matters, such as financial hardship or accommodation issues. And with general information regarding student visas, relationship difficulties, as well as personal and health-related concerns. Sections with student support advisors are free and confidential, and students can receive support in person or virtually. For more information or to book an appointment, just search UNSW Support Advisors.
Academic skills can help students with any aspect of their academic work, including planning and writing assignments, reading and note-taking, presentations, critical thinking, and many others. This service is available to all students at any point of their degree. The academic skills team meets with students by individual consultations, workshops, or in general education and faculty courses. They also provide heaps of study skills and resources online on the Academic Skills website.
Equitable Learning Service is a confidential service that supports students living with disabilities, medical or mental health conditions, or anyone with care responsibilities. The role of ELS is to ensure that you are provided with appropriate flexibility and educational support throughout your university studies. The service is free and confidential, and there is no need to tell your faculty what your health condition is. The team at Equitable Learning Services will work with you on a personalised equitable learning plan with specific educational adjustments.
Mental ill health is common. No matter what your concern, UNSW is committed to supporting students who experience any form of mental health distress. Support is available through Mental Health Connect, whether you're in Australia or studying overseas. Mental Health Connect will assess your needs and assist you to access the most appropriate counsellor, psychologist, advisor, or doctor. If you need support after hours, there's also an after hours line you can call. Head to Mental Health Connect website for more information.
UNSW Employability can help you to build your personal and professional identity to discover, launch and grow your future career. there are career coaches available for online appointments to assist you in navigating your employability journey at UNSW and beyond. For more information, go to employability.unsw.edu.au.
ARC is your official student organisation. We look after everything outside the classroom, from an epic O Week to over 300 clubs, sustainability programs and creative opportunities, student wellness and sports on campus, and so much more. The gist is, we want you to experience everything. Your first step to an incredible experience at UNSW is to join ARC today.
So there you have it. There are heaps of ways that you can access opportunities and support at UNSW. See you on campus.
So now we're just going to kind of revisit a few of those key points and kind of just highlight and elaborate a little bit on a few of the things that were mentioned in there. So kind of building on where Shane was talking about the academic side, I think this is the most important place to start, because there are quite a lot of differences potentially between your home institution and between UNSW. Potentially there's different kind of approaches, not different standards, but different approaches to kind of what makes a good academic skill, what makes good academic skills here. So I think it's very important to know where to go if you are struggling with that and if you're kind of having a few issues within your course. So the first place to go would be your tutor or your lecturer, essentially. These are the guys who you'll probably have the most interaction with. You'll be seeing them in every class, every lecture you go to, and of course it's those guys as well who are delivering the course. So they would be the ideal first contact. In some situations, there may be a sort of informal arrangement that you can come to. You know, if there's a particular issue, if you need a little bit of extra support, you need a bit of direction in terms of extra reading, that kind of thing. So that would be the ideal first step there. Equally as well, the course coordinator would be a good shout as well if you do need a bit of support with the course. It's these guys who have kind of built the course and ran the course. So they will also be experts in that area. And for a bit more sort of general support, there are the student support advisors as well. And I do encourage you to check that out. It could be potentially very useful. The link is in the PowerPoint, so that can just link straight through to that for you. And they're a great team. So that team, they're kind of they've got backgrounds in psychology, backgrounds in social work, that kind of thing. And they're also sort of triage experts. So if you have a complicated problem and it requires sort of a few different solutions to be woven together, these guys will be the ideal first step, and they'll be able to point you in the right direction sort of very, very quickly and accurately, I suppose. And of course, there is the nucleus, the student hub as well, which is kind of a great first point. If you're very lost, if you're very confused, you can just wander straight in and get help on the spot, face to face, which is lovely, or you can call them, or you can give them a ticket, all that kind of thing as well. And you will get to see that during your tour, but for reference, it's just kind of that way. Roughly a stone throw, whatever that may be. So yeah, that is the ideal first point there. And of course, if you still need support, you have us as well, the team. So Study Abroad, you should all know the email by now, but if you don't, it's in the PowerPoint, and the Exchange email as well is also in the PowerPoint. So with regards to academic skills, there is a lot of academic skills support, and again, this is linking into those potential cultural differences between our universities. So very important that you can access these if you do need them. They are very accessible. You can have the sort of individual consultations online if you need to. I think they do face-to-face as well. You can join the online workshops, and there are also like a ton of online resources as well if you do need that. And again, it's coming around to things like academic writing, the style, and also touching on integrity, as Shane mentioned as well. Accidental plagiarism is a thing, so try not to get caught out by that. And if you are feeling, if you are on Turnitin, might be the first time on Turnitin, and you're getting high sort of plagiarism results, this could be an ideal service to check out as well. And you can see all of that as well. The link is up on the screen, and when you get the PowerPoint, you can check that out yourself too. So moving on to the Equitable Learning Services. Again, it was touched on in the PowerPoint, but this might have a different name at your home institution. It could sort of be like a reasonable adjustment plan or something similar. I think it's important just to highlight, firstly, that if you do have that in place at your home university, it won't be valid here, not until you have actually visited the Equitable Learning Services. So I would encourage you to do that immediately, not necessarily right after this because we have a tour and a barbecue, but sometime in the coming days to be able to get that registered, because it's very important that if you do need those adjustments, that they are in place for you. And the kind of thing that you can get through that, of course, is kind of support with the classwork. You can get alternative deliveries and assessment tasks, things like that. The use of assistive technology at times, exam adjustments and assistance with note-taking, things like that as well. And the link to register is up there on the screen. And again, just to reinforce that if you try to do this just before an assessment or just before an exam, the chances are you're not going to get that in time and it's not going to be approved. So it must be done before the start of term, ideally, or very, very soon after. So just moving forward to my English week, if for any of you English is a second language, it is running from the week of the 26th of August through to the Friday, and that's running at 3 o'clock. This is a great sort of free service program that you can kind of jump in on if you do need a little bit of extra support with your English. And it's also a great way to meet new people, make new connections with the other international students who have arrived. And there's also a lot of academic benefits to it as well. It's delivered by the expert English language and academic skills teachers. And I think it would also serve as a really good confidence booster as well, if some of you are a bit worried about that heading into your term. And the link there is up on the screen. I can just see as well that the pictures listing different dates there. Don't attend for those dates unless you have a time machine. But please do follow the dates at the top there. And the last part of this section is just about accommodation. Now, I hope you all have accommodation, hopefully, fingers crossed. Hopefully you've already hung your fairy lights and put up your posters and whatnot. But if you have not, now would be a really good time to jump on that. And this is kind of where you would need to go for that support now. So the website is up there and the email is up there as well. I'd recommend reaching out as soon as possible if you are needing that. But the off-campus accommodation support team have done an incredible job of directing our students into accommodation, making sure they've got somewhere to call their own. And we've also got a few examples of the kind of things that become available up there as well. So things like a private rental or a share house, purpose-built student accommodation, which is a great option as well, and short-term temporary like hotels, Airbnbs, which may be important if you don't have anywhere right now, and also homestays as well, so that's an option. So that is all for that section, and now I'm going to hand over to myself, who's going to talk to you about health and well-being. First, once again, to save my voice a little bit, we do have a video, so we'll go with that first.
The UNSW Health Service is a comprehensive health service that's available to all students and staff at the university. Our team of highly experienced GPs have a diverse range of skills and knowledge. We can treat everything from general health issues and sports injuries to heart problems. We can also conduct men's and women's health checks and provide vaccinations for health and travel. Making an appointment with us is easy. You can book a time via our online booking system through the UNSW Health Service website or through the Appoint You app, which you can download on your phone. You can also come in and speak to our staff in person. All appointments with us are completely confidential, and the health service does not link or share your personal records with the university. For domestic students who hold a Medicare card or international students with a Medibank OSHC card or AHM card, there is no cost to see a GP. A small fee may be charged for some vaccinations and dressings if needed. If you are an international student with other health insurance funds, you may need to pay upfront and be reimbursed later by your health insurer. On the day of your appointment, you can find us on the ground floor of the Quadrangle at the Kensington campus. Please check in with reception and present your UNSW ID card and a Medicare or health insurance card. Appointments will usually take between 15 to 20 minutes, and the GP can treat most inquiries at the health service. If your GP feels you need further treatment or a specialist, they will write a referral letter for you and tell you where you can get additional help. Uni life can be fun and rewarding, but sometimes it can be stressful if you're sick or worried. So remember, if you have any concerns about your health or well-being, come in and see our friendly staff.
Yeah, so once again, we're just going to run through a few of the things that we touched on and elaborate and add a few things as well. Again, it's worth noting that nobody plans to get sick. These things just happen. So again, it's good to know where to turn should you need it for anything in particular. And here's a word that we probably haven't mentioned in a while and that we all like to kind of block out of our minds, COVID-19. So of course, you know, largely we all feel that we're kind of past COVID-19, and to some extent we are, given that, you know, we're all sat in a room here. 4 or 5 years ago, that simply would not have been possible. So, you know, we've come a long way, but that's not to say that COVID-19 has gone away. It's still around, and it's still equally as annoying as ever. It's not nice to have, you know, so take the correct precautions, essentially, to avoid getting sick and avoid anyone else getting sick as well. I think that's the key takeaway from this slide, and just be somewhat considerate to the people around you as well. You know, if you do have quite a not nice cold or a flu or something like that, try to keep it away from everyone else. Pop on a mask maybe, and if you have tested positive for COVID, please do stay at home. Do not go to your class if you are, you know, if you do test positive, and make sure you document that as well. You may need a medical certificate, so bear that in mind also. And telehealth appointments will be ideal for that, which we'll touch on in a moment. So we saw in the video, we mentioned the UNSW Health Service. So there are an array of appointments available for you. It is very accessible. The team is great. It's a team of experienced doctors, and they can pretty much help you with anything you would need. So, you know, again, kind of like a great first port of call if you do need anything, if you do have any concerns there. Super easy to book. You can either wander in face-to-face and make an appointment that way, or you can book online, or there's an app as well, as the video told me. You give them a call as well. I believe the number is up there on the screen. It is indeed. So you can also give them a call to make that appointment as well. They offer the usual vaccinations as well, so if you do normally get those, you can get that there. And again, they offer face-to-face appointments and telehealth appointments. So if you can't go in, if there's a reason you can't go in, for example, you have COVID-19, this would be a really good option for you to be able to get your medical certificate should you need that. The hours are also up there on the screen as well, so that's 8 to 6 Monday through Thursday and 8 to 5 on a Friday. They're the best times to get sick, bear that in mind. But if you do decide to get sick on a weekend, there are some options there as well. So in an emergency, a big emergency, you can call 000, or if it's less than an emergency, you can wander to the local hospital yourself. There is one just over there, yep, just over there. Just next door to us, it is the Prince of Wales Hospital. And it's also worth noting, if you're on campus and you need an ambulance, the best first point of call is to call UNSW security. So the reason for that is UNSW campus is great to walk around, much more difficult if you're driving an ambulance. And there's certain points that you can get in that are easier than others, and you don't want an ambulance to turn up at the top of a set of stairs and you're at the bottom, that kind of thing. So if you give UNSW security a call, they will actually call the ambulance and guide the ambulance to the most accessible point of the campus to make sure you can get out as quickly as possible. So bear that in mind as well. If you do need it, fingers crossed, you don't. There is also an after-hours doctor call link on the screen there as well, so if you do need that, it is there. So we also have a variety of psychology and wellness services available to students. And again, this is kind of, should you need it, there's a variety of services available there, from things like individual counselling and motivational support, and anxiety and mood management, and various other things as well. Very accessible and open to our students, of course. It is located very close to the UNSW Health Centre, so quadrangle, stone throw that way, quite a fast stone throw. And of course, the details are up on the screen as well. You can give them a call, you can email them, and they're open 9 to 5, Monday through Friday. And there's a link there as well, which will have more information if you do need that. So this won't necessarily be relevant to all of you, because this is somewhat Medibank specific, but there's a few things that you could take away as well if you have a different provider. It's a good idea to get your overseas health cover set up and make sure it's accessible should you need it. You don't want to get yourself in a situation whereby you really need it and it's not set up, you don't know your password, you haven't registered your account, all that kind of thing. Could be very annoying in a difficult situation. Easiest way for Medibank is to use the app, the Overseas Health Cover mobile app, and basically it allows you to manage everything on the go, which is great. You can generate a digital membership card as well, which is wonderful. So you can just simply tap the FPOS machine with your digital membership card, easier than carrying around a physical one. You can make claims all the time, just using that. You can lodge a claim, create a new claim if you've had to pay out of pocket via the app as well. There's also it can provide you with advice, contacts on there to provide advice, and equally it helps you find a doctor who bills directly to Medibank, which is also useful to make sure that you're not paying out of pocket and then trying to claim it back later, which can be annoying and frustrating, particularly if you don't have the money available at that point in time. There's also translate functions on there as well, and if you don't want to use the app or for whatever reason you can't, there is also the register online. You can do everything as well on there, it's just, I suppose, less portable. You can't really do it on the go. So again, if you have a different provider, it's worth looking into if they have an app, if they have an online platform, you should really register as soon as you can. And as well for Medibank, there is 24/7 student health support, numbers up on the screen behind me there. And you can get kind of a good array of assistance there if you do need it. You can speak to a registered nurse, which is great at any time, which is really good. Counselling services, legal advice, family contact services if you do need that, interpreter services, and a few other things as well. So the link is there if you do need that. And lastly, there is a little office on campus if you do need it. It is a very far stone throw, maybe 2 or 3 stone throws in that direction. You will see it later today because we're going to head down to the roundhouse for the barbecue, and it's pretty much right next to it. So if you do need support, that's open 9:30 to 3, Monday through Friday. And I believe that is all from me. So I'll now hand it back over to Elena. Thank you.
Hello again, I'm back. So I will talk to you about staying safe while you're here. So personal safety, so Sydney is a safe place compared to many parts of the world, but it is still a big city, so it's important to take normal precautions as you would in a large city. So obey all warning signs, don't leave your bags or your belongings unattended, even on campus, so keep an eye on them. Don't walk alone at night, travel in groups, especially if you're out and you're leaving a place, so try to get home in groups. Keep your passport in a safe place, in a secure place. Only carry what you need, don't carry large amounts of cash. I know probably no one really uses cash anymore, but just in case, don't do that. If confronted or if you're in a dangerous situation, just comply with demands, don't risk it. Don't try to be a hero and retaliate. Just, yes, comply with demands. Crossing the road, very important, especially for the first few days. So we drive on the left side of the street. which is different to most of you, not everyone, but is different to what you're used to in your home countries. So it's important to pay attention, especially while you're still jet-lagged. So the safest is to look both ways. Also watch out for the light rail. So it kind of appears almost like out of nowhere, so be very, very careful. And light rail quite often has like a separate traffic light. It could be tempting to cross if it's red, but don't do this. It could be very dangerous, so always wait for the green to cross. I know it's common sense, but we do need to remind you. Just, yes, cross with the locals too, just follow them. If anything, they will get hit first. Sun protection. The sun is dangerous. In Australia, you probably have heard, you have read about it. We do have a saying, slip, slop, slap. So sleep on a shirt, slop on sunscreen, and slap on a hat. So always make sure you protect yourself. Even in winter, it may feel like the sun is not very strong. You may feel like it's a nice sort of sunny day. You would like to get a bit of a tan. It doesn't work like this in Australia. I think every international student potentially has to learn from the experience, but just trust us. You can't just stay on the sun for a bit, like sunbathe. You will get burned without sun protection. So just wear sunglasses, hat, long-sleeved clothes, use high-factor sunscreen. Our recommendation is to buy sunscreen that is made in Australia. If you brought sunscreen from your home country, it just may not be strong enough for here. And just remember that the sun is at the strongest between 10 a.m. and 4 p.m. So just be mindful, as I've mentioned, even in winter now, but we're headed into summer, so you will all be here during really, really hot days. So while you're here, aim for a healthy balance of work, play, and rest. Minimize your stress. I know it may sound maybe weird because you're here on exchange or study abroad, like how stressful can it be for a few months in Australia? But it can get really stressful. You will be studying. You will also be doing lots of things on and off campus, traveling, experiencing Sydney, socializing. You may be experiencing like homesickness or maybe some other challenges. So it could get really stressful. So it's important to remember that help is out there. So we've been talking a lot about different support services available. So please do reach out if you need help with anything. Look out for yourself, look out for your friends as well. So if you feel like someone may be a bit struggling, reach out to them to make sure they're doing okay. And once again, all the support services are available. In terms of your studies, plan out from the start. It may seem, you may not have your first assessment until, week 3 or 4, but it's still important to plan. Don't get behind on your readings. And once again, any help academically, talk to your tutor in the first instance, and there are other resources available for you. Some other things we need to talk to you about, and we know you're all adults, but we do need to remind you about smoking. Well, smoking is still bad for you, but if you do smoke, remember that the campus is smoke-free campus, so you're not allowed to smoke anywhere on campus, which once again may be different to where you're from. Smoking is also prohibited on public transport and where food is served. Also, if you smoke, it's a good idea to ask people around you if they mind, because it's not very common to smoke here. We're not going to lecture you, of course, on how bad smoking is, but if you do need help quitting, you can see one of the doctors at the medical center, and they do have programs and support services available, and they can guide you through the process. So drinking. Drinking age is 18, which once again may be different to your home country. If you choose to drink, drink for fun, of course, but be responsible, stay within your limits. Beware of drink spiking. This is very, very important. It happens, anyway, it happens in Sydney. Sometimes international students may be targeted. So always know what's in your drink. If you're out somewhere and if you leave your drink unattended, don't come back and drink from the same glass. Don't risk it, just get a new drink. And don't accept drinks from strangers. If you accept a drink from someone you don't know, just make sure you see a bartender actually pour a drink. Just don't accept the drink if a random person brings it to you. When you're out, watch out for your friends as well. It's important. If you feel like someone don't feel doesn't feel like they're themselves, make sure they get help as soon as possible. Driving under the influence, once again, we do need to remind you it's a criminal offense in Australia. A note about drugs: recreational drugs may be readily available, but it doesn't mean they're legal, they're still illegal. So if you choose to engage in any criminal activity, be prepared to deal with the consequences, such as your program may be cancelled, your visa will be cancelled, and you may have issues applying for a visa in the future to come back to Australia. So once again, you're all responsible adults, but these are the things we do need to remind you for your safety. Safe sex, also very important. Just remember that all genders are equally responsible for risk prevention. Consent is very important. So consent matters each and every time. So consent is when a person freely and voluntarily agrees to behavior, understanding what they're doing and who they're doing it with. So this includes situations in everyday life and also when it comes to sexual activity. So with consent, no one feels pressured or forced to do anything. Everybody is conscious and clear-minded. So it's important to actively seek and affirm enthusiastic consent through words or actions, as consent cannot be assumed through inaction or inactivity. Consent is reversible, which is extremely important, so anyone can change their mind about what they would like to experience at any time. And consent is also specific. So if someone consents to one sexual activity, it doesn't mean they consent to other activities. And consent also needs to be affirmed every time an activity takes place. UNSW is committed to creating a safe and respectful environment for everyone. So if you have been personally affected by gendered violence, including sexual misconduct, or if you know someone who has been affected, help is available. You're not alone. We do have lots of support services and people who can help. We do have a reporting portal if you wish to make an anonymous report. We also have first responders, so if you would like to talk to someone confidentially, so that someone can guide you through the support services available through the reporting process, you can speak to one of the first responders. So they are staff and students who have been trained to provide confidential support. So once again, just remember, reach out if you do need any help and don't suffer alone in silence. With UNSW Security, we are committed to the safety of all staff, students, and visitors on campus. There is security on campus to make sure everyone is safe. You may have seen already, or you will definitely see, there are help points, sort of orange and blue. They've been strategically placed around the campus. This is a direct radio to UNSW Security. So if you ever feel like you need to speak to security, it doesn't matter what is it about. If you don't feel unsafe or if you need their help, just you can press the button and you will be connected straight to security as well. We do have a night shuttle bus that sort of operates around the campus. It stops at different gates and that takes you a little bit around the campus. So the schedule is on the website and we have it on the slide as well. So if you don't feel comfortable walking from one part of the campus to another, the shuttle bus is there. Security can also offer escort service. So once again, if, for example, you're studying really late in the library and then you need to walk to a light rail stop or to a bus stop, you can call security and someone will escort you. Campus is safe, but once again, it's good to take precautions. And if you walk at night, stick to the main walks, they're well lit, and call security if you need help. Security is here 24 hours, all day, the whole night. They do have a phone number for general inquiries and they have a number for emergencies. So the numbers are listed on the slide. It's a good idea to save them in your phone. For any off-campus emergencies, it's 000, so it's easy to remember, police, fire, and ambulance, 000. And we do have Stay Safe at UNSW app, which we encourage you to download. It has emergency contacts. You can request the security service through the app, and it has the schedule, and you can track the night bus that I was talking in an earlier slide. So moving on to getting around. So as I mentioned before, we're really well located. We're well connected by public transport. We also have our own shuttle bus that operates between our campus, the Kensington campus, sorry, not our campus, this campus, and the art and design campus. So it's a really quick ride. You don't need to book this shuttle bus. The schedule is online, and it's also at the stops where the bus leaves from. If you take classes on both Kensington campus and Paddington campus, they can't be back-to-back, obviously, because you need time to travel, so they need to be at least 1 hour apart. Public transport is very reliable, well, relatively reliable, but I think compared to other places, it is. It's safe, and we're really well connected by public transport networks. A lot of people commute to work using public transport, or local students commute to campus using public transport as well, so you don't need to drive. We are connected by buses, and we do have 2 light rail stops at the bottom of the campus and on the upper campus as well. So the light rail, as I mentioned before, will take you to the city or the central station. And finally, a note on Opal travel card. You may have got one already, but we use Opal cards when you catch public transport, and you just deposit some money on it, and then you tap on and off every time you get on the bus or light rail, and when you get off as well. It's important to remember to tap off when you leave the bus or light rail, otherwise you will be charged the highest fare. So to ensure you're correctly charged, just always tap off. Exchange and study abroad students are not eligible for transport concession or discount, unfortunately, so you always have to make sure you pay the adult fare. Buses and light rails are quite often patrolled, so people will be checking the tickets, and the fines are quite big if you don't have the correct Opal card. You can also use your credit card. You can use your phone, credit card on your phone to pay if you prefer, or you can get an Opal card as well. So that's it from me. I will now hand over to Philippa to talk to you about Australian culture.
Hi everybody, my name's Pip. So I am the exchange advisor for Asia, the UK, New Zealand, Ireland and Israel. So you may have spoken to me depending on your home institution. I'm going to be talking a little bit about Australian culture amongst other things, and a bit about culture shock as well. So culture shock, obviously a lot of you have probably just arrived. Some of you may have maybe had a few days or up to a week to get situated, but some of you may have just arrived today. So it's just something to keep in mind that culture shock, leaving home and traveling to study in another country, can be a stressful experience, as you kind of heard. Like, you might be having a fabulous time, but some students may be, a little anxious about being in a new place. It's something that surprises people sometimes when they actually realise that they're having a kind of wave of culture shock where they might feel a bit down or sad. They don't have their family and friends that they used to. But it's important to know that you're not alone, and lots of students feel this way. Again, for students who English isn't their first language, it might also be a lot to have to think in your second language all day, talking to new people, and that can make you a bit tired and a bit stressed, and maybe sometimes a bit lonely for people that speak the same language as you. So the other thing to think about is social behaviours might be very different to where you come from. So that's something to keep in mind. It's so important as part of your exchange experience. You're here with so many other students from all across the globe. Everybody's got different perspectives, different mindsets, and it's really good as part of your experience to make friends and really learn about other cultures, is to be open-minded and understand that students are all in different positions, different boats, and to factor that in when you're thinking about being friends, talking to others, and getting yourself out there, and that other people, again, may or may not be in the same boat as you. So as I mentioned, culture shock might hit people at some points, others different times, maybe not at all. It really depends on your individualized experience. This is just a nice little thing to show you that, there's no one set way to experience your exchange or culture shock. And so please keep in mind that, as mentioned by my colleagues, there's tons of support available to you here on campus. There's always someone to speak to. And again, it's really important to stay in touch with your friends and family back home. I'm sure they always love to hear from you guys. And so if you feel like you need to speak to someone, there's always so many different people to reach out to. So guys, you're in Australia. It might be brand new to you. You've never been here before. Others might have visited on holiday. Everybody is different. But Australia is a relatively young country comparative to a lot of other countries in terms of being colonised. But we are one of the oldest civilizations on the globe. And that is very reflected in hopefully our culture. I'm going to show you a few different flags that you might see on your travels around Sydney, New South Wales, different states, and when you travel, hopefully Australia, if you get to do so. So the first map that we're looking at is the traditional lands of the Aboriginal people. They make up thousands of different groups, each with their own unique language and history and culture, and so they are a really incredible history of knowledge of what they call the Dreamtime, and so that is, I guess, what we would say the original map of Australia would look like. The second one is the map that probably started in 1901 when Federation occurred, where we were split into states and territories. So you are in the state of New South Wales, and so if you don't start watching any sporting teams, you're New South Welshman when you follow your teams. But yes, so there's different states and territories that hopefully maybe you get to visit when you've got some time when you're not studying here at UNSW. Then next off we have the coat of arms. You will see that there is our national flora and fauna. It's the emu and the kangaroo, and one of the interesting reasons why they were chosen is actually these are two animals that cannot walk backwards. They can only move forwards, and that's kind of our symbol of Australia. We're always moving forward. And then we actually have our national flower, which is the golden wattle. As I hope you guys are watching the Olympics right now and supporting your countries, but you'll see Australia in green and gold, and that's representative of our kind of national colours, the wattle. And then we have our national flag. As you can see, we have the Southern Cross and the Union Jack side by side. As many of you will know, we're colonised by the United Kingdom, so we're still part of the British Commonwealth, so that's representative there. And then our main star is actually has the points for the number of states and territories from Federation. Then we have the Indigenous flag, which is black, yellow and red, and that is also seen alongside our national flag at many kind of national events. Then we have two other flags here. I think the main one maybe to talk about is the boxing kangaroo. Again, you'll see that at lots of sporting events. That's kind of a sports flag showing that, where we have fighting spirit in Australia. So as we have mentioned, we are on Bedegal land here at UNSW, but we are an old nation, 65,000 plus years of history. You may also hear it referred to as country. This is the Indigenous word to describe the land, waters, and all seas and tributaries in Australia. And it's all about culture, holistic to country, and that's how they see themselves. Indigenous people are part of the land and the land is part of them, and that's why they want to ensure that it's cared for to the best of their ability. Again, as mentioned, it's a very diverse group of peoples, a lot of different languages, a lot of different cultural differences between those groups. So if you do get a chance, I do highly recommend that you go to some of our museums and art galleries to see some great Indigenous arts and culture whilst you're here. So generally speaking, Australia is a pretty multicultural place. You might have heard from my colleagues. We've got someone from Russia, someone from Britain, a few of us from Australia. We're hopefully pretty diverse, and that hopefully will also be your experience while you're here. You're here with so many other international students. We have over 300 exchange and study abroad partners who send students to UNSW, but also just from our local full-time population on campus. As mentioned, there's 70,000 students, so you can imagine hopefully there's a really diverse group of students here on campus. But although we are centred on like an Anglo-Celtic Western culture, you will have a lot of opportunities to experience other cultures whilst you're here. Lots of different food options. Hopefully you'll enjoy your time whilst you're here. We're the 6th largest country in the world in terms of size, but we're actually a really small population of approximately 25 million people, which might be a lot smaller than what you're used to. Particularly even just in Sydney, I think it's about 7 million people in Sydney. So we're big, but we're also pretty small. So just a few things to know in terms of some cultural mores whilst you're here. A lot of students, when they go out in groups, will do what's called splitting the bill, which means like you share the cost of the total amount of your food and drinks that you're having together if you go with a group. If you go out for rounds, which means like you go grab a drink with friends, one person might shout the first round, which means they'll buy drinks for everybody, and then you'll take it in turns to do the same. The other thing that you would like to know is probably that we shorten everything. We abbreviate, that's kind of how we do things in Australia. So like afternoon, arvo, like that kind of thing. So you may hear a lot of Australian slang, as it were. So something to keep in mind. And again, a big point of difference potentially from where you come from. Our working hours might be shorter comparative to what you're used to, particularly also with like shopping. Thursday night is considered our late night shopping, but it might not be particularly late compared to where you're from. So those are kind of just some cultural things to keep in mind. Now, I know while you're here, you're going to be trying lots of new things. Some of the food might be new to you too. We do eat our national fauna, i.e. the kangaroo. It is readily available in the supermarket. It's super high protein, very lean meat. If you want to try it, it's really easy to get. So we're not scared of eating our national fauna. Some other things you might want to try is a sausage sizzle, which you're going to have at the barbecue today, which is like a sausage in a piece of bread with some onions and maybe some sauce. You may also want to try a lamington, which is like one of our #1 things, plus obviously a lot of you will have heard of things like Tim Tams, but we do also have this wonderful delicacy called fairy bread, which is a piece of bread with butter and hundreds of thousands on it. It's a staple at any child party. So something I guess to move on to that's a bit more serious is beach safety. Obviously, a lot of you will be here going into summer, and some of you may be from places where you have access to water and you might be a strong swimmer, but other students might not be in the same boat. So it's really important to keep these kind of things in mind when you go to the beach here or in any other part of Australia. Always swim between the flags. So you will see at very large beaches, particularly if you go to Bondi and Coogee, that we do have surf lifesavers on the beach and they are regularly patrolled, and you will see these yellow and red flags, and they'll normally put 2 on the beach. It's because they have checked the conditions of the water and have found the safest place for you to swim. You should be swimming only between those flags, and if you do not, you are at risk of endangering yourself, particularly if you're not a strong swimmer. It's important to note that whilst you may be going to large beaches like Coogee or Bondi, which are patrolled, if you do plan to travel, there are many beaches that are not patrolled, because you can imagine with the coastline like Australia, there are a lot of beaches and just not enough people to patrol them. So I don't recommend, if you are not a strong swimmer, to go to an unpatrolled beach at any time, or especially do not go alone. So we're going to watch a quick video now about rips.
You should know about, because there's something that can get you into trouble. I'm Dr. Rob Brander from the University of New South Wales, and I'm a surf scientist and surf lifesaver. During the summer months in Australia, on average, somebody drowns in a rip every 2 or 3 days, and most of the thousands of rescues that happen on our beaches are related to rips. Remember that it only takes about a minute to drown, so it's very important to be able to spot rips on your own.
Now, if you haven't noticed, I've been swimming between the flags, and that's where everybody should swim because the lifesavers and the lifeguards put the flags in the safest part of the beach away from the rips. And if you don't know what a rip is, if you swim between the flags, that takes a lot of the guesswork out of having to spot one. However, of the more than 11,000 beaches in Australia, only 3% are actually patrolled by surf lifesavers and lifeguards. And that means there's a lot of beaches and a lot of rips that you could easily get into trouble in.
Well, what are rips? It's a really good question. And what we do is we throw purple dye, which is harmless, into the water. The dye goes wherever the water goes, and it's an easy way to spot the rip.
Well, let me tell you what rips are not. They're not undertow. They won't pull you under because there's no such thing as an undertow. They're not rip tides because they're not a tide. They're a current. They flow pretty steady, and they won't take you to New Zealand.
Basically, rips are strong, narrow currents that flow from the shoreline through the surf zone and offshore. They exist to take all the breaking water that's piling up on the beach back out to sea.
Here you see a nice green gap, almost like a road going through the surf. And that's the rip current because it's sitting in a deeper channel, in this case, between the reef and the sandbar. But look at it, there's no waves breaking, there's hardly any white water. Whereas you look to the right, you've got your sandbar, shallow water, waves are breaking there, bringing all that water in and back out through the rip. It looks perfect, and that's how you spot it. It's a pretty scary experience getting stuck in a rip, and there's definitely some do's and don'ts about how you should behave if you do find yourself caught in one. The main thing is not to panic. Don't panic because the rip will not pull you under the water. All the rip will do will take you further out to sea and it'll sometimes bring you back. Remember that you've got air in your lungs, you float, you're very buoyant, so don't panic. The second thing to do is if you're not a particularly good swimmer, put your hand up, straight up like that, signals for the lifeguards and the lifesavers to come and get you. What you could also do if you're a good swimmer is you could look around. And if you can see the sides of the rip, which is usually the shallower water where the waves are breaking, a lot of white water, swim towards that area. White water is good because it means it's shallow, you can maybe stand up, and also white water brings you back to the beach. What you should never do is swim against the rip. These things flow pretty fast, and you'll just find yourselves going backwards, swimming faster, getting tired, and then you'll start to get scared. So just go with the flow, signal for the lifeguard, or let the rip take you around and get out of it yourself.
One of the reasons that rips are dangerous is that they flow faster than people can swim, and sometimes they can flow faster than even Olympic swimmers. Rips are most dangerous because they actually look like the safest place to swim. A view from a headland is always a good way to spot a rip because you're up high and you're looking down on the beach and they're a lot easier to see. And often surfers and swimmers will check out the beach for rips before they go down in the water. Not all rips are the same. The most common type is what we call a fixed rip. And fixed rips are stuck between sandbars and they might stay in the same place for days, weeks, and even months.
Well, we've just had an example of a flash rip where all of a sudden the rip is pulsed out. Where those surfers are, you can see the chopped up, messy white water that's just gone out, and then it's just stopped. And that's one common thing about these flash rips is that they can suddenly occur anywhere where there's suddenly been a large group of waves breaking, and it pushes the rip out, and then it disappears.
Finally, we get something called a permanent rip, or a headland rip. And these are rips that are pushed against the headland, and they're there almost all the time. So it's another good reason to always be careful when you're swimming close to headlands and rocks. If there's no lifeguards or flags on a beach, the simple rule is don't go in. If you do go in, make sure you're an experienced swimmer or surfer, make sure you're always with somebody, and make sure you know how to spot rips.
That's me for my session. Thanks so much for listening. We're now going to hear from Steph, who's going to talk about our UNSW Student Society group ARC.
Hey everyone, lovely to meet all of you. My name is not Steph, it's Mitch, and I work for you. I work for the student organisation at UNSW, and we are called ARC. Before I go any further, who here has heard of ARC? Nice, that's a credit. Who here has gone online and joined ARC? Distinction, excellent. And who here has got the sticker on the back of their student card, got the membership pack, and are already getting involved in clubs and societies? Okay, just a couple of HDs in there as well. All right, so I guess my job today is to tell you about all of the wonderful things that you can get involved in at UNSW that is outside of the classroom, because I know that you have chosen UNSW for its prestigious academic experience and that your academic goals are the highest priority while you're on exchange. But should you find yourself with some free time and would like to get involved in all the fun stuff that's outside the classroom, you can come get involved in us, and we have plenty of things to keep you busy. The first thing to tell you is that our mission is to create the best student experience, and what we like to tell students is that we want you to find your thing. So if you like to do crochet, or if you like to play volleyball, or if you like to go to the movies, or if you like to go to the pub, regardless of what your thing is, you can smush all of those things together through ARC, and we'll make sure that you have an amazing time at uni. And in the spirit of having an amazing time, I do have a challenge for you. I would like you to turn to someone you haven't met yet, and I would like you to say g'day and find out one or two of their hobbies. And there are prizes for people that can participate willingly. Ready, set, go. Okay, I'm so sorry to interrupt. I'm so sorry. You can continue this conversation very soon. So, what I have to acknowledge the people that have gone outside their comfort zone and said hello to someone is very exclusive ARC Food Hub fridge magnets, memorabilia that you can give to your children, to your grandchildren, take back home and tell them all about our wonderful food and grocery program. If you can put your hand up and tell me the name, the country of origin, and the hobby of the person next to you, you can both win a fridge magnet. Yes. Please go ahead. Yes. Football, like soccer football or American football? Okay, nice, soccer football. Round of applause. Anyone else? Right at the back. Amazing. Round of applause. Okay, so the feeling that I'm getting is that I have to tell you a lot about sport, and that's fine. I love sport, I know lots about sport, and Australia is beating both the US and Canada at the Olympics right now, so, oops. All right. At UNSW, we have over 330 different clubs and societies. Everything you can possibly imagine, you can do through us. We have a Frozen Desserts Appreciation Society. They just eat ice cream. We have a Cat Appreciation Society. They just feed the feral cats on campus. And I know that soon we're going to have a cryptocurrency society, but you are not allowed to take financial advice from them. Please, please, please. We are the kind of big, diverse student organisation that we can have a Chinese Students Association, a debating association, and even a Chinese Students Debating Association. So literally, if you can dream it, we definitely have it for you. And if we don't have what you're looking for, please come talk to us and we will help you form a new society as well. When I was a student, I formed the Hummus Appreciation Society, for obvious reasons. The next thing that I get to tell you about is sport. Now at UNSW and through ARC, we do sport all the time, and we do it very, very well. At the most basic level, you can join any of our different sporting clubs. There's 39 different sports clubs. UNSW is very, very well known for our martial arts. We're very good at judo, taekwondo, boxing, Muay Thai, Taido. So if you've never tried one of those, this would be a great place to do so. But sport is also a great way to enjoy the amazing natural amenity that we have around us in Sydney. So we have the windsurfing society, we have a surfing society, we have an underwater society, they go diving. One of my favorite clubs to recommend to exchange students is the Outdoors Club. They basically go on hikes and trips and tours in the Blue Mountains, South Coast, within Sydney as well. They're a really great way to meet other Australians. They're a great way to see some of the most amazing things that you can in Sydney, and they're also very, very cheap, those trips as well. But you can also check out Social Sport, which is like every afternoon during the term, we play sport down on the Village Green. If you are really competitive, you could get involved in our Nationals program and like represent UNSW in a big competition. That happens in week 1, so if you are competitive, it'd be great for you to let ARC Sport know really soon. And we also have another program which is new called Global Sport, which is like where we show people that aren't from Australia lots of really Australian sporting experiences. So we'll take you to see sporting games like the AFL, which is our version of like cage wrestling, but absolutely crazier. You could also like learn to play Australian sports, so we'll take you to like iconic sporting places in Sydney as well. All right, the next thing that I have on my list is to tell you about getting involved. There's lots of different ways you can get involved to make our campus a better place, to make Sydney, New South Wales, Australia a better place. It's a great way to meet people. It's a great way to get extra training. It's a great way to feel the warm and fuzzies from helping others. There's lots of things listed up there. So Volunteers United helps out with lots of not-for-profits all over Sydney. You could get involved in our creative programs, even if you're not creative. Sustainability, we grow gardens on campus and grow fresh produce and then eat that fresh produce every week. So there's really fun things that you can get involved in all the time. So check out our website to find out more. The next thing that I have is wellness. Now we have this saying at ARC, which is that you can't pour from an empty cup. It's a really good reminder that we all want to help the people around us, but we need to be able to help ourselves first. So we have a whole bunch of programs dedicated to educating you on how to look after yourself. And once you can look after yourself, you're more able to look after the people around you as well. Which brings me to a really important point around help. So at UNSW, we are really committed to making sure that you don't just survive when you're at university, but you absolutely thrive. But we do need you to do something that we call help-seeking behaviours, which means if you need help, don't just sit there and feel sad about it, like come and ask for help. There are people at UNSW in the exchange office, in the nucleus, at ARC. Our whole job is to make sure that you are as happy and healthy as you possibly can be, and we will move hell and high water to make sure you're really well looked after. But please do come see us if anything doesn't go to plan. I think the things that I have listed up here is our Food Hub program. So we hand out free groceries every single week to UNSW students. I think this year alone, we've handed out over 200,000 meals to UNSW students, which is a phenomenal number. But I think it speaks to the fact that Sydney is a very expensive city to live in and that your food bill is a really big part of one of your expenses. So if you can join the other 200,000 people that have come and gotten a meal from us, you should feel no shame whatsoever about asking for a little bit of extra help. We also have free stationery on campus. We give legal advice to students. And in week 0 and week 1, we have Campus Compass as well, which will help you navigate university. The last thing that I have on my list is this like heaps more thing. We do heaps of other fun stuff for students. I think you guys are here at a slightly weird time for us because we obviously get really busy once term starts, which is the start of September, is O week. So there'll be lots of stalls on campus, lots of activities and fun stuff happening. And then in week 1, we really hit the ground running and we have heaps of things happening on campus every single day. So my very last thing for you is if you want to get out your phone, scan the QR code, save it for later, screenshot it, whatever you need to do. Join up to ARC. It's free to join. There are no extra magnets. I'm so sorry. So you won't get a magnet when you join up, but you will get a tote bag. You will get a notebook. You will get a few other goodie things as well. ARC is amazing. I'm so excited to have you guys at UNSW for term 3. Exchange students absolutely make our campus so vibrant and exciting. You are so welcome in our big ARC and UNSW family, and I hope you have such a wonderful time here. And if you do see me on campus, please say hello. Thank you.
Guys, we're almost done. So we are actually very excited that we now have an ARC Society for exchange and study abroad students. So we have here Carmen and Rushvi, if you just want to come up to say hi. So they're two of the founders of the society. Just here to say a quick hello. They will be at the barbecue as well, so if you would like to talk to them about the society and most importantly join, you can do it at the barbecue at the Roundhouse. And ARC representatives will be there as well.
Hi. My name's Carmen.
My name is Rushvi.
Yeah, we're from the Exchange Society. We just wanted to quickly say a bit about what we do. We're one of the newer societies with ARC. It's for UNSW students who are going on exchange, have been on exchange, and of course for you guys who have come here. So it's a great opportunity for you to meet some of the local students, which I know can be a bit hard when you go on exchange. We've all had experiences going on exchange or are interested in going, so very like-minded people. We kind of host events, which Rushvi is about to go into, and can offer discounts for activities around Sydney, and also just general help and support settling into life at UNSW, and if you just want to chat and meet some local students as well.
Again, thank you so much for having us, and welcome to Sydney. So about our upcoming event, we do have a pub crawl event coming up on the 15th of August, so next Thursday. Tickets will go out on Sunday, so keep a lookout for them. They will give you access to exclusive discounts on the locations. For more information, do follow our Instagram page. It's called Exchange Society UNSW. It's the logo with the koala, so that's where we're going to be posting a lot of the information on our events and upcoming events, especially this pub crawl. But if you guys have any more questions or just want to chat, come talk to us at the barbecue, and hopefully you guys have fun.
Yes,
thank you
again.
Great, thank you so much. So we have finished with our presentation, so thank you so much for listening. So now the exciting part, we are having campus tours for you, which, as I mentioned before, will conclude at the Roundhouse, where a barbecue, like a sausage sizzle, will be served. So when you leave the auditorium now, please turn right. So leave the auditorium and go to the right-hand side. Our team members will be able to direct you, and look for yellow shirt volunteers, so they're wearing a yellow t-shirt, and join one of the tours. And we will see you at the Roundhouse. Thank you so much.